Hey guys, and welcome to Brad and Brian talk about RiffTrax, the Five Doctors. Basically, for those of you who may not know RiffTrax, they are the guys behind Mystery Science Theater 3000 or 2000?
3000.
3000.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they'll watch different movies and they'll add their own little commentary that is funny, just throughout the movie, not to mock movie or anything like that, but just to have fun. And they did Doctor Who and the Five Doctors.
And the most important thing about, especially the old stuff, is that these were terrible movies. These were late night B movies. And with RiffTrax, they've kind of branched off, and they'll do off their website like new, more modern movies that you may just love and be a fans of, like the classic Doctor Who. And with that, they then just do the same comedic track with the new movies.
Pretty much.
So, anyway, what did you think of the short? There's usually a short that they premiere in front of these live events. What was your...
The short for this one was some old British PSA thing called Play Safe, basically talking about don't play near like electrical stations or power lines or anything like that. And it was just over the top ridiculous and fun and a little dark at the end.
Well, it was very dark because they say these kids didn't get murdered. There were several murders here.
Right.
Don't fly kites near power lines. Don't go near to transformer stations.
Right.
And I am convinced that in the 1970s in Britain, they just played with electricity all the time.
Right.
I don't know how you feel, but that's what I got out of this.
Yeah, and it seemed like about probably 60 to 70% of British kids at least got one shock at one point, if they weren't just axed off totally.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there was a weird animated couple of birds talking too.
I felt the emotions of the one bird, but that freaking owl.
Yeah.
That owl not only was grumpy, but it was a vindictive little sucker. I swear, he set those kids up to be electrocuted.
It was great.
And clearly, this was a great another free public short that they found, and you should watch all the RiffTrax shorts. They're just genius.
Brian's had a bit more exposure to RiffTrax than I've had, and he was telling me that the last couple you've seen, or the last couple you watched.
Yeah, the summer shorts, genius, but the couple previously to that, I don't know because I've seen so many of them, but I kind of felt that the comedy had major highlights, but on a par was not as good. With this one, though, there really wasn't a bad moment throughout the whole time. Their comedy was fantastic and spot on without really tearing into the movie or the actors. It was really a lot focused on the cheesiness of early 1980s sets of bringing them together. But I guess before we dive into kind of like the story that we just saw, what was your impressions?
Like of the movie, or
of the movie, of the comedy?
Of the movie, like I felt like honestly it was just it's so bad it's good. It's one of those 80s cheesy movies. Like it's definitely not going to win an Oscar, but it was definitely entertaining to watch, and seeing all the different doctors interact with each other, except for one who's just totally not even there at all. So they really should have called it the Four Doctors, I feel, but it doesn't have as nice a ring to it. And the RiffTrax guys, they did well. They did, they made some funny observations. They made some good jokes. I mean, like there's just some stuff that's just bad about the movie's production and stuff like that, and they called it
All right, so let's preface this. Let's take a step back and preface this for a second here. Now, the movie The Five Doctors. This is a tale that Doctor Who does from time to time, where they get a collection of the previous Doctors all back for a special. So this is taking place during the fifth Doctor's time, which is early 80s?
Yeah, I want to say somewhere in season 20, so like 1983, 84.
Okay. And it should be noted that if you haven't been watching Brad's talks on the old Doctor, you should really check them out. I have dabbled in the old classic Doctor Who's, but by far I have not really completed the season. I kind of just use it for a Doctor Who fix when the modern Doctors are on hiatus, usually in the mid-summertime time period for myself. So Brad is much more versed in the more classic stuff. So what we have here is them bringing back the first Doctor all the way through the fifth Doctor. Like Brad mentioned, the fourth Doctor kind of goes MIA.
Yeah.
And obviously, William Hartnell has been passed on for a considerable time period when the Five Doctors takes place, so they have a replacement actor. This is a shock to no one that knows the history of Doctor Who. So to keep with our non-spoiler version here, they create a premise to bring all these Doctors together.
Right.
And so, apparently, you can just kind of zap Doctors from multiple timelines and bring them into a death zone.
Yeah.
So
it was an interesting little device to bring them all together, and a lot of like the first half or so was just each Doctor, exploring this new place and eventually coming together for like the last probably 30 minutes or so of the movie.
Like anything that kind of uses this very similar premise, these guys really weren't tapping into a new creative thing here. The one thing I did find interesting, and let me hit you with this, is bringing back their marquee companions.
Right.
I really didn't expect that because of how many characters it was going to be.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. To be clear, first off, I've only watched up to the second Doctor, like the first season of the second Doctor, so I don't know everyone's character. But the first Doctor had his granddaughter Susan. The second Doctor had Jamie and I forget her name. I think it was Zoe or something like that. And like, I believe, well, I know for sure Jamie was the original actor. I think Susan was the original actress. I forget. But it was cool seeing these different characters, and like they also brought in a few other characters, to help assist the different Doctors. But they didn't really bring as much. Some of them.
Yeah, the only thing that was real interesting about bringing the companions in was the team ups. Like you had Susan, and then Tig was her name for the
Tig or Tegan.
Tegan. That was it. Yeah. So seeing Susan and Tegan team up in in this scenario, and then seeing how the more older Doctors interacted with the newer companions, it was an interesting little dynamic that kind of kept you intrigued, would be the word.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of like, as you were kind of going through the plot, that was the thing that you were probably most in grips with was, all right, we know how they would typically act together. Now, how are they going to act when we change up the dynamic?
You heard me?
Right.
I still got your charger.
So, once again, we want to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. So bear with us as we try to work through the plot here.
Right.
So we have that going on, and then of course, like there was obstacles in their way. Some of them were puzzles, and some of them were just surprises that you really should go see. Now, being said, you don't have to wait. You can obviously go to the RiffTrax.com and purchase this or rent it from them and give them money directly. But it should be noted that we're seeing this on August 17th. They're going to have a reviewing of this Fathom event on August 24th, a week from now. So if you want to go to your local movie theater and figure out which ones have it, then by all means, go to fathomevents.com and you'll be able to find which of your local theaters has it. For us, it was just a little out of our way.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and I mean, like going off, seeing like the event like live, it's definitely more cool and interesting to go to the theater and see it rather than, hey, like, I mean, if you have to, you can chill at home, watch it on RiffTrax.com, but like, right after we got out of the theater, we talked to a couple of your buddies about, some of the classic stuff with Doctor Who, some of the new Doctor stuff. So like, you get that fan interaction also.
Yeah, and it's really awesome to share it with these because you can see which part of the crowd laughed at the same joke that you're laughing with. So it's these events that RiffTrax puts together are definitely well worth the money. It's the cost. It might be $1 or $2 more than your normal movie ticket, but it really is worth it because you're sharing it with hardcore fans of either RiffTrax or Doctor Who. And in this case, everyone was pretty much into it. No one was being shocked that they were riffing on the movie.
Oh yeah.
So that was good. But yes, now don't worry, he'll edit out the pauses, folks.
Yeah.
So we've covered the premise here. Mm-hmm. We've covered the short.
Right.
We've kind of discussed in a non-spoiler fashion what is taking place in the Five Doctors.
Right.
What was the? Did you find the riffing taken away from the story, or did you find it enhancing it? Because those are always the best. Is when RiffTrax brings out new elements in the story that you've been chuckling to yourself about.
I think definitely the riffing was really good stuff. Like they have, it's not really a spoiler, but basically, one of the characters falls down. It's honestly a very slight incline, and they just made jokes about that, like, oh no, I fell down the slight incline, I need help.
For which the doctor had to solve this problem by witching a rope around a vehicle and pulling this person up.
And then, just like in other scenes, he's just making comments, on some of the silly, ridiculous costumes, which, let's be honest, they're kind of over the top at times. But, it was fine. It was, just like, whenever you put an outfit together and it just doesn't work. Like, it's something good to laugh at, but it wasn't mean-spirited, definitely.
Definitely. We can't emphasize that enough. But we both agree that they were focusing on the cheesiness, not at the bad acting. Watching classic Doctor Who, and matter of fact, going back in film history or television history in this case, and watching them act and perform without CGI, without quick camera tricks that hadn't been invented yet. The pacing alone of the stories are just dramatically different. And so, I had to sit there and kind of marvel, new Doctor Who and new television is definitely not at the pacing of this old stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember when I started watching the old stuff, I'd say, for American television, it compares somewhat to Gilligan's Island, I Love Lucy, a lot of old 50s and 60s shows. It has some of that, different comedy and different pacing. and I felt like it worked.
Yep, it did. I think I would honestly say that this is a movie, a story I would watch if I was sitting at home on the weekend, and I just needed a Doctor Who fix.
Right.
This is not a story that's going to blow you away. It may have been an anniversary thing, or it may just be the BBC saying, "Hey, let's get them all back together."
Right.
For one last time. Regardless, it was cheesy, campy, massively over the top, but well worth it, even without the RiffTrax guys riffing on the movie. It's definitely something that you probably wouldn't buy to own without the riffing.
Right.
But it is definitely something that if you were home and you wanted the Doctor Who fix, or if you're searching Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, that you would definitely say, "Hey, that sounds pretty good right now," and you would watch it then. Okay, so I guess we probably should wrap this up.
Yeah, I can't think of anything
Yeah.
else to say besides I enjoyed it. It was
Yeah.
cool. You should check it out.
2 thumbs up. Kevin, Mike, and the RiffTrax guys were definitely on their A game on this one. The short was awesome. I definitely will be adding this for our next RiffTrax Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie night. And the Doctor Who stuff was everything you love about campy Doctor Who.
Right.
And you know what? I'll let Brad have the final word, but this is Brian from the Cosmic Octopus and the web series Rivals. And I would love for you guys to check us out on the YouTubes, on the Facebooky machine. And if you, matter of fact, if you even use the Google bot, you can easily find Cosmic Octopus and our short films and the Rivals web series on the YouTube. So, Brad?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like Brian, promoted his own work. I've watched some of Rivals. I still have to watch Cosmic Octopus. But like from what I've seen so far with Rivals, you guys do good work, and I like what you're doing. So I would definitely highly recommend it to the. At this point, I have about 40 subscribers, so have whatever you want of that.
Hey, Brad, in Rivals, we leave everything on the table, and I will gladly take 40 more subscribers to the YouTube channel in particular. To check out watching 3 knuckleheads who are forced to live in a house together, and only one of them is responsible.
Right. And also, really quick, it's like a more mature show, so probably be like 18 if you want to watch that, I would say.
Yeah, definitely high school age. So we know you junior high kids are watching, and we love you for it. Please watch more. Share it with your friends. And then, Cosmic Octopus, well, we do short films. Whatever strikes our fancy.
That works.
So,
Cool.
and thank you, sir, for
no problem. You're the one who told me about the event, so really, I don't know. Everybody gets thanks for doing something. He told me about the event. I brought the selfie stick in my phone to make the video. So everybody wins something. As long as I can edit this good enough to go to YouTube.
Yes.
Which I will.
Yes, please edit those pauses out.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Again, check out Rivals and Cosmic Octopus. If you're interested in classic Doctor Who, I've been doing the Doctor Who retrospectives. I'm working on season 4 for September 2017, so that should be coming up soon.
Yeah, as someone who only dabbles in the classic series, I imagine at some point I'll get through it all. His William Hartnell one was quite interesting, and he provided a lot of insight, especially since the classic Doctor Who formulas hadn't been really made. They were inventing it for the first time. Right. So Brad did a great job kind of pointing stuff out. Some of it I knew, some of it I had no clue on, and some of it I hadn't realized because I just haven't watched all of the first season yet.
Cool.
So I think that does it.
That sounds like it. So we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye bye.